can kindly confirm me that the screen is going to be available to you. Can anybody tell me if you do see my screen? Yes. Okay. Perfect. Thank you very much. Great. So I'm going to start our presentation with an information which pleased me very much, and I think it's an important reference for a prospective student. Politecnico di Milano in 2021 has been ranked by QS World University Rankings within the category of art and design as first university in Italy, third in Europe, and fifth in the world. This ranking is one of the most important one all over the world, as it ranks the best universities based on the teaching areas and research areas as well. This is an important element. Politecnico di Milano and the School of Design and the design department develop activities that are teaching and research activity. This is an important point, as we will see in the offering of our Master of Science. The research conducted by professors and researchers new tour the teaching activities so that whatever you will experience and will study during your educational path, it is informed by contemporary issues that are relevant to the fashion industry, not only the Italian fashion industry, but in general the world fashion industry. Politecnico di Milano has a long tradition. It is a technical university founded in 1863, and it started offering an engineering offering on teaching and also research. Then architecture was added, and in 1993 industrial design was included as one of the subjects developed. After some years, the industrial design course that were started under architecture, the architecture school as a specialization of architecture school, despite the fact that design was already worldwide renowned as an independent, let's say, industry, especially within the Italian industry. So after around 20 years, the School of Design has been officially funded as an independent school. So in 2002, we have officially opened the School of Design. In these 20 years, the offering has been developed and built up at different levels. We have, of course, a Bachelor of Sciences. We have a Master of Sciences of a duration of 2 years. And after a Master of Science, students, of course, can decide to start their professional practice or follow further their develop further their educational path with specialization courses, or enter into the higher level of education, which is represented by a PhD degree. Politecnico di Milano offer a dedicated design PhD program, which is one of the few in the world. So the offering of the Master of Science is for sure an important step to further develop your knowledge, your professionalism, and to tackle the contemporary challenges that the fashion industry offers. But in case you are very dedicated and interested in pursuing also an education in researching and developing new solutions for the industry, for sure, staying at Politecnico with a PhD program, it's an interesting opportunity. The offering of our Master of Sciences span throughout the different subjects within design. You can see that we do not have also only design for the fashion system Master of Science, but we cover product design, communication design, interior and spatial design, and product service system design, plus some specific topics like design and engineering, digital and interaction design, and naval design, which is in collaboration with University of Genova. So you see that from the offering, I would say the basic offering of our bachelor degrees in industrial design, communication, interior, and fashion, we step up at the level of Master of Science with different specialization. Some of the courses, as these three, are taught both in Italian and English. For what concerns our presentation today, and so the design for the fashion system Master of Science, this is taught just in English. Why this decision? This Master of Science, as all the others, is a 2 years program that attract an international crowd of students. So consider that more or less 50% of the enrolled students at the first year are coming from outside Italy. So all Europe, but also all over the world. So this makes this course pretty vibrant in terms of opportunity to enter into contact and collaborate with different cultures, with different background as well, as not all the students that enroll in the program have a background in fashion design, but it attracts, because of its characteristics, very different individuals, all connected by the interest in understanding what the fashion industry can offer and how we can tackle the challenges that fashion industry is developing right now, also in terms of research. I would like to highlight the title of this master is not just simply fashion design, but design for the fashion system. This declares already a very specific objective of our master that recognize the master itself and position the master itself within the offer of on the market of all the other masters. Our interest is not in teaching how to simply design a product, but how to manage creative processes along the entire value chain and the fashion industry as set. Also understanding how to answer with innovation, design-driven innovation, to challenges that span from digital technologies, promoting different approaches to design for both products and services, sustainability, of course, but also the development of new materials, the understanding of a new way of communicating a product, also via social media or different platforms that are developing right now. So it is an approach which is pretty unique and that is rooted in the tradition of the Italian fashion industry that has been developed right after the Second World War, with a tight relationship tight relationship between research, university, and industry. The idea that the professionalism of a designer cannot be disconnected by the contemporary practices that in the industry are relevant is fundamental to be understood, to be able to address the need of the industry. Fashion design, design for the fashion system in line with the Politecnico tradition and approach is deeply informed, as I said, by research and experimentation. In particular, it connects high craft and high tech practices. As I was mentioning, the experimentation with digital technologies is not just let's say, technical solution, but it informs different way of developing product, and experimentation can lead to innovations that inform not just, let's say, the aesthetic dimension of a product, but also the identity of the product itself, the functions of the product, and also its significance within the entire system. Another element which is very much important, talking about digital technologies and craft, is promoting the concept of high craft. So the idea that through technologies and digital technologies in particular, craft can be augmented. So the idea is to understand how human being craftsmanship can be promoted and step up to better solution or innovative solutions thanks to the application of digital technologies that inform not just the communication side of the fashion industry, but also production processes, for example, and in general, the management of the entire supply chain. Another important point talking about crafts is, of course, the dimension of an handmade work. With the latest modeling software and teaching the latest modeling software, we understand how we can provide the students the opportunity to collaborate with any company in the fashion system that can merge, again, the experimentation on real materials and the digital environment. To this end, the central objective for training the graduate in design for the fashion system are the ability to embed cultural contents into tangible and intangible artifacts and develop aesthetic languages. So the idea that the designer is not an individual genius disconnected by the industry and the contemporary culture is fundamental. The understanding of the cultural, sociocultural issues, I would not like to use the term trends, but the idea of understanding how consumptions and values of consumers are developing within a specific context and at a certain time, it's fundamental to be able to transfer those values and those beliefs and those elements of relevancy where the consumer can connect with into tangible and intangible characteristics of the product. Another important element is the ability to embrace new technological paradigms to promote products, processes, and services innovation. Again, the dimension of fashion system allow us to think that a fashion designer can coordinate not just simply the design of a product as an artifact, as a physical artifact, as a garment, or as an accessory, but in general to manage creative processes within the fashion industry, and also to offer services that enable consumer to have a better understanding of a fashion product, or have a better consumption experience of the fashion product, or sometimes making the experience the product itself. This is pretty easy to be understood if we think about the huge step that during the pandemic, very many fashion brands has done in moving their offering into the digital realm and understanding how we can work not just producing garments, but within the digital environment, and stemming ideas from other sectors like game design or art, and in general any technological driven sector. Another important element that we do provide to a graduate that that conclude our Master of Science is the ability to detect opportunities for new emerging consumption behavior oriented toward culture-intensive experiences. Fashion, as other design-driven sector, is defined as creative and cultural intensive industry, in the sense that it promotes, it produces, it offers to the final consumer products and services that are historicized in the development of the experience of a consumer, are recognized daily within the lifestyle of the consumers itself, and are able to represent the identity of such consumer. So again, the ability to detect the opportunities for offering new consumption behaviors and how to deal with the ongoing consumption behavior, it's an important ability that graduated in our Master of Science is equipped with. Another important achievement is the ability to manage creative processes, as I was saying, in relation to different organizational functions. Design very many times is defined as a mediator among different disciplines, but also among different departments within a company. And in particular, within a fashion company, given the complexity of a fashion supply chain and value chain, very many professionals are required to define and to move along the streamline for defining a product or a service. A designer has the ability of connect, like a bridge, between the different issues and different knowledge that each professional can bring, with the ability of understanding aesthetic, technical, processual, business aspects of an idea. Another important element is the ability to critically evaluate the impact of design on the social, cultural, and economic context in order to promote socially responsible practices and behaviors. So here, of course, we are discussing the importance for a designer, a fashion designer, to understand the concept of sustainability as a holistic concept that cannot inform just the environmental sustainability of a product, but needs to consider also the sociocultural sustainability of a product, the ability to respect and to be informed by the original culture that produced a product. The social dimension refer to welfare and the respect of certain aspects such minimum wages, the respect of conditions for workers that scale up from the individual perspective to the community perspective. And last but not least, the concept of economic sustainability, the idea that as an industry, we of course are looking for producing a profit for a company or the system itself, but this does not mean not respecting rights and beliefs. This holistic view is something that the Master of Science in Design for the Fashion System embrace, also informed by the guidelines that the European community has released and also worldwide has been released thanks to the Agenda 21, which has been defined by the United Nations as a point of reference for defining practices all over the world in terms of respecting the four dimensions, as I said, environmental, social, cultural, and economic, in terms of sustainability for any product or practice we are dealing with as professional and individual, and so as citizen. Last but not least, an important ability that our graduates can acquire is the ability to strategically plan and manage a sustainable design product. Again, the idea that creativity needs to be spread and managed across different function, and design can inform decisions understanding different perspectives, understanding the multifaceted dimension that a fashion product has. To achieve these goals, we ensure access to a wide laboratory system that is able to support our students in experimenting, but also in developing their own solutions. The design lab support design practices and are part of an experimental tradition of the School of Design at Politecnico di Milano, which adopts a learning by doing teaching approach in which practice and reflection support the ability to develop knowledge and know-how. The idea of experimenting and practicing a certain part of the design process allows students to experiment directly and then reflect on what has been done in order to abstract knowledge and also to acquire the know-how to deliver a certain result. The concept I'm gonna show you here. An example where you can see presentation of final results, but also the making within the spaces of our labs. So here it looks like a prototype of a simple garment, but actually we do see here the experimentation between fashion and technology and sensors within a workshop that has been led by Giulia Tomasello, one of our visiting professors. So students here have been required to experiment also with data programming and writing algorithm that allow an interaction between the product and the user. So you see that here the work that students has been experimenting is related not just to the prototypation, but also to the production of the material itself. Well, in this case, PVC textile is including flowers that through sensors will react with under the weather conditions in order to build a relationship between the garment, the user, and the context outside the environment. The laboratories, therefore, allow students to verify project hypotheses and to learn how to prototype, becoming not only a tool for representation, but also for communication. As you've seen by this short video, the idea is that the making of allow to present not just the final product, but the entire process, the entire design process, which is the main focus of our experimentation. Going a little bit more in depth about the program organization, during the first year, the focus is on the design of an advanced fashion product with strong integrations of technologies, materials, and modeling. The idea is then to use instrumental courses that are dedicated to retail and visual merchandising, trend forecasting, and as well communication. So from the first studio, we have then 3 courses basically that support different parts of, let's say, the creative activities related to different functions and parts of the supply chain. again, trend forecasting at the upstream, about research in understanding and scouting which are the opportunities for a new concept in relation to consumption behaviors and consumption trends. Retail and visual merchandising related to the downstream process of bringing the product or the service into the market and showing it accordingly to different important elements that span from merchandising to displaying the product into a physical or digital store, where we do reflect as well about the phygital dimension. So a mix between physical and digital. And of course, a communication course that support fashion communication in order to support the existence of the product into the market. The second year, which is also the final year, is mainly dedicated to the final synthesis laboratory, which is conceived to transfer theoretical concepts, instrumental capabilities into intensive design experiences. This second year and this final synthesis laboratory is organized with different experiences, different short intensive workshops in order for students within this condensed time to have different design experiences and to practice different concepts that are relevant for the contemporary fashion industry. This lab enabled future designers to face the transition from the traditional product, the traditional product-centered fashion system into a more sustainable and user-centric paradigm, taking full advantage of the digital transformation potential. So the idea is to move, again, as I said, from a product dimension to a systemic dimension. Within this lab, the experiences are hybridized, taking information and taking know-how and knowledge from different disciplines, not purely from fashion studies or fashion design. As I was mentioning before, an important component of experimentation is related to data science and digital technologies with sensors, the programming part. Here you see some examples that they are using Arduino test, also technologies that are within the field of digital manufacturing. For example, here you see some experiments that use laser cut as a digital technology that promote a different approach into product manufacturing. The idea is that also at the second year, additional courses regarding the business management teach students the foundation of defining competitive business models suitable for the contemporary market, with specific focus on entrepreneurial components and the design of a portfolio within a branding process of a coordinated personal image. So a Master of Science in Design for the Fashion System is interested in providing you the ability not only to manage the complexity, the creative component of a product or a service within for the fashion industry, but also to make it feasible on the market and support you in becoming an entrepreneur and not only professional that can enter into an existing company. But the idea is to provide you with the abilities to promote innovation and guide eventually your own entrepreneurial ideas. Of course, also the dimension of developing a portfolio, it's very much important in order to support you to enter into the work environment. Additional components of our Master of Science relate to workshop and internship that are offered during both the first and second year. In particular, workshops are specific experiences, educational experiences, which are 1 week long, so very intensive. That are carried out throughout the whole program. Again, first and second year, and represent immersive design activities that are led by visiting professors. So the international dimension of the master does not pertains only the audience in terms of students enrolled, but also the faculty. And with the involvement of fashion and design companies and firms. So workshops are experiences where companies offer a brief, which is not a simulation, but a real brief based on challenges or projects that a company is developing or wants to develop beyond their daily operations, so that students can have an industry challenge to work on within 1 week. So the pressure facilitates the idea of going beyond any boundary that can be put in order to promote innovations that then a company eventually, if interested, can take on and further develop. Internship is another important component. All our students are required to have a mandatory internship to conclude, to acquire the amount of credits that allow to graduate. There's Politecnico di Milano do have a career service and offices dedicated to facilitate the meeting between students and companies. We have a strong relationship with more than 900 companies in Italy, and also contacts all over the world. But there's also the opportunity for students to develop a relationship with new companies that can enter within our database in order for us to support the relationship between the students and the company and supervise the quality of the internship experience, as each internship is based on a learning agreement that set a sort of plan for the students that as an academic supervisor, but also an industry supervisor, a company supervisor, so that we are sure that the experience of the internship is aligned with the didactic goals of the Master of Science, and through the internship, the students can acquire specific abilities that complement his or her education. Of course, the program ends with a work that support the graduation of the students, a specific work that is embodied with the graduation thesis. The graduation thesis is developed under the guidance of a supervisor, which is part of the program faculty, of course, in order to ensure the high standard qualitative elements that do recognize a Master of Science graduate. The work of graduation thesis can be conducted as development of theoretical design and innovative research, proposing an original design solution to an originally approached design questions, or it can be addressed as a desk or field research, consolidating an existing body of knowledge, therefore demonstrating the acquired research methodology throughout the Master of Science. How to complement the presentation of these 2 years of program, I think it's important for you to know which are the professional opportunities for the graduate of this program. First of all the design for fashion system graduates are trained to carry out a steering role within fashion companies. So this means, again, being able to design product service systems, innovation, coordinating creative processes in collaboration with business and production processes, and leading interdisciplinary teams. So these are three important elements that recognize our graduate on the market, and which the market recognize are very much important element that the market is requiring right now. Graduates will be professionals employed in creative management roles, mainly at textiles, apparel, and accessories company. As you have seen from the images from the previous slides, we do not have a focus on a specific fashion sector. Each studio and each workshop will ask you to explore different sectors, different experiences. So there's not a focalization, a focus on a specific merchandise, apparel, jewelry, garment, accessories, but you will experience very many sectors and applications, so that you can then individually understand which is your vocation, but with a toolkit and methodologies that are provided by the program, you'll be able to enter the market with a strong approach, a solid and sound approach, in order to be able to answer to any request, let's say. So as I was saying, the professionals, the graduates will be professionals that are employed at different fashion companies, but also at companies and firms such as trend institutes or research institutes, communication agencies, also retailers and logistic platforms that provide research and services to support a fashion business. Again, the name of the product, the name of the program designed for the fashion system allow us to educate a professional that is able to cover across the entire supply chain different professional roles with credibility and sound methodology and tools that are specific for this industry. Again, throughout the slides, you see images that are basically examples of activities and projects that our former students have developed along the years, of course, recent years. The last element that I want to offer you are related to additional component that make the master unique, which are basically represented by the possibility to enrich the curriculum with international experiences among the ones chosen from the Erasmus program within Europe, bilateral exchange programs with extra EU partners, and double degree programs. So as I was saying at the beginning, you'll experience enrolling this master a very international environment, a very vibrant, culturally vibrant environment that is even more vibrant because of these international opportunities. So at the first or even at the second year, you could participate in a selection process for spending abroad 6 months or up to 1 year if working within a double degree program. Among the different partners that we have for Erasmus or extra EU experiences, one partner which is very much important that I would like to highlight is Fashion Institute of Technology in New York. We have an exchange program with FIT that is now running since 2007. So it's quite a long program, a longer relationship. This particular exchange program offers the possibility to lead a semester in New York as a student at FIT. So as an exchange student at FIT, which is one of the most renowned fashion schools school in the world. There are specific rankings that ranked fashion school, and FIT is at the top of these rankings. What is interesting about FIT is that it has a strong focus on developing technical skills related to design of a fashion product. So if you are not satisfied enough by your knowledge about fashion design itself, which is just a part within of our master program, you can apply for this exchange program, and if selected, spend one semester dedicated especially to technical skills for the fashion program, the fashion design itself. I think that these are interesting opportunities that do position this master very well, and it makes it competitive, let's say, on the market today. Just before leaving space to your question, I would like to highlight that the concepts that I presented to you should be understood in relation to how the quality of an industry and the culture of a society are proven to be strongly connected. For this reason, the Design for the Fashion System Master of Science educates young designers to be responsible professionals, conscious of their role and free from intellectual and commercial impositions. So professionals that are capable to take action and to rethink a sustainable fashion industry, which is very much important nowadays at the social, cultural, and environmental and economic level, as I commented before. I don't want to steal too much time to your questions, so I'm gonna end my screen sharing so that I can access the chat and see if there's any question so far. But no, there are no questions, but please feel free to ask anything that comes to your mind, any curiosity, any doubt, or any specific request. Anna is asking, do we need to enter already knowing how to sew and draw? As I was saying, the focus of the master is not on fashion design. So you won't experience projects that do require just sewing or drawing. But of course, the ability in terms of experimentation, as you've seen in some examples, also the video that I shared, the ability to manage the basic technical skills is important. To enter, you are required to apply through a portfolio, so your technical capability will be evaluated. If you are not already very developed, I would suggest you to, in case you are accepted after the selection, to get prepared at least in the basic knowledge of sewing skills. Drawing for a designer, it's an important technical skill. I don't want to lie to you, but drawing is not just a capability that relates to end drawing. So again, let's consider that nowadays there are digital abilities that are important as well. But in any case, for a designer, the visual representation of idea pass through and or digital drawing. So this needs to be something that you are able to manage. Valeria is asking, what should be the level of English for an Italian students coming from another university? This is a technical question. I I'm not in charge of this kind of information. I ask you about the if you need information about the minimum requirement to enter, to refer to the secretary or to ask on the chat. Let me check. Let me share again my screen so you can take note of where to get in contact with us to ask this kind of questions. So you can go on Poliorientami. It is a dedicated website where you can access, so poliorientami.polimi.it. You can access all the information required, and also through a chat ask this kind of technical information. I don't want to mislead you with wrong information. Sorry, let me switch off the screen sharing so I can go back to the chat. Shangaya is asking, thank you in advance. I want to kindly ask you that this year classes are online or in person. So Shangaya, I assume you are talking about the academic year 2021-2022. Thank you for the question. Very, very relevant nowadays. We cannot, I don't have a magic ball to predict the future, but consider that we are already running in-person classes as the conditions in Italy are getting better, and according to our government guidelines, this is feasible. We hope that the condition will allow, and if the government guidelines continue to be the ones that we are experiencing now, we'll continue to have in-person classes. So, of course, unless the whole world is gonna go back to the situation of last year. You bet. My pleasure. In any case, let's knock on wood. If anything happen again that prevent us from the opportunity to be on campus, please consider that we have been able last March, in 2 weeks, to move all classes online. This means, this has meant for our students that the semester was not lost. Classes were regularly conducted online, and all the programs were conducted successfully until the end, according to the plans, according to the syllabuses, to the syllabi, sorry. And so we have developed a pretty awesome ability to react to any situation. Our classrooms are fully equipped technically to stream and to manage blended experiences. So I hope it won't be again as it was in the last year, but in case we are able to support students and to not let you down, and to not miss one day of your education. Valeria is asking how many projects should be in the portfolio. Again, please check with the guidelines that are provided officially. If I'm not wrong, there's just a maximum dimension for the file you sent in terms of mega or gigabyte, but not a maximum number of projects. So my suggestion is submit the best portfolio you can, the most exhaustive portfolio that you can show. in order to show your technical abilities, but also your design skills in terms of creative skills. So don't stick to certain numbers, but figure out about the contents. My pleasure, Valeria. Please don't be shy. I'm available for another 10 minutes, so ask any question you may have. Or I have been very clear and exhaustive, or I have been very boring. There is Francesca writing. So there's another question from Shanghai, and sorry if I mispronounce your name. Could you please give us some information about M1 and M2 program and their difference? The differences are on, let's say, the contents of the courses, in the sense that on the briefs, let's say, of the different studios. The structure of the two sections is exactly the same. The courses are exactly the same, but consider that each year, each semester, a brief for a project is launched, also depending on the companies that are involved. So there are these differences that actually change from each year. In general, one of the two sections is focusing the first year studio on accessories, whereas accessories we do have a broad definition from bags to shoes, to hats to sunglasses. So anything that is not garment, not apparel. And the other section is more focusing on garment and knitwear, for example. At the second year, when it gets to the final synthesis studios, actually the two sections works in parallel. There are shared classes, and some workshops, as I was saying, are dedicated one track more to materials and the experimentation of materials and the physical dimension of products. The other one more related to digital technologies and communication. But again, as I said, there's exactly the same structure of the course. What happened is that from the first year to the second year, you can decide each year which is the topic that you prefer. So you may be in one section or the other, and vice versa from the first to the second year. Anna, again, is asking about the admission process. Again, I'm sorry, but I'm not part of the offices that manage the admission process. So when to send a portfolio relates to the requirement. There are the guidelines that are shared on the website. I do ask you to check that. But yes, I'm pretty sure that you need to send the portfolio for the admission process, as the selection is based also on the portfolio. Francesca is asking, after do that, students try to do an independent brand or prefer to work for a big fashion company? Well, Francesca, this is an interesting question. It is it is really, there are really different experiences in the sense that very many students have the desire to test themselves within the industry, understanding also which are which is the role that they do see themselves better. So very many students decide to have multiple experiences in different companies with different roles to understand what suits them better or suits their vocation or capability better. Some other students do work in parallel, trying to develop their own brand, but of course, working at a company allow them to sustain their self also economically. Other students have already an experience in the fashion industry and do come with a background that may be also having a collection. So it really depends on their individual background, experience, potentialities, and interest. In general, if I have to talk about a trend, consider that also designers that are already working within the field do act as, for example, freelance or do work for brands while working contemporarily on their own brand in order to have two way to support themselves and to feed ideas to each other. Tainara is asking, in the master, will students be doing workshop, internship, and thesis throughout the whole master, or just one or two of these things? No, all the students will experience workshops, internship, and thesis. The workshops are one workshop at the first year, one at the second year. The internship can be done at the first or second year, but you can also, after the mandatory internship, decide to have a non-mandatory internship. So there's no limitation to internship. The interesting thing is that after having the mandatory internship, that gives you the credits that are necessary to complete your educational path, you can decide to have a non-mandatory internship. Politecnico supports you in any case, meaning that, again, you'll have an academic supervisor, you'll have to decide with the company and your academic supervisor and the industry supervisor, the company supervisor, the learning agreement, so to set a plan to be followed in your non-mandatory internship. And even if you want to receive credits for this non-mandatory internship, this internship will be registered in your career. So this will contribute in building up, let's say, your academic curriculum. And the thesis, of course, is for is a mandatory step for each student. You cannot graduate without your graduation thesis. Marco is asking, are there any special courses to fill in the gaps in sewing in case we don't have competencies in pattern making, for example? Well, Marco, at Politecnico, the labs require for being used a basic training, which is mainly for safety purposes. So you follow a basic training to be sure that you won't hurt yourself or won't create issues to the equipment. So this is at least a basic element. Then the labs are open for you to be used also outside the hours of classes. So and each lab has technicians that supervise students where in the lab. So you can acquire basic information by yourself, but then train, acquire experiences, spending hours in training, because basically sewing skills and drawing skills are like a muscle. You have to train them. You have to practice to train yourself and to build up your manual ability and the accuracy, for example. Then there are occasionally courses, there are extra courses that you can pay for acquiring information. If specific competencies are required by curricular courses, in general, professors do work with labs in order to offer you for free specific, let's say, in-depth training. So I would say that in case you are not a strong pattern maker or sewer, you should consider to get prepared by yourself, but also be aware that there are very many occasions to be taken for free or by paying at Politecnico as well. You're welcome. Okay, I guess our together is ending now. It's 5:30 here in Milan. I hope that the presentation and this Q&A session has been informative enough to make you interested in applying for our master degree. I wish you, in any case, all the best for your future education. And in case you do apply and are selected, I will be very happy to work with you. I'm, in particular, in the master degree, I do teach trend forecasting. So in both the section. So in case you'll enroll, I'll be working with you with pleasure. Again, thank you very much for your time and all the best. Take care and have a good rest of your day. Bye-bye.